After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down.
The FBI is in the news for two reasons. One is a big announcement from the director, Christopher Wray, where he has announced that he will resign, serve out the rest of his term until January 20th of 2025, making way for Kash Patel, that is. And also they offer zero answers when it comes to the drones that have been plaguing the sky of New Jersey. These stories and more in this video, but let's start with that announcement.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down. My goal is to keep the focus on our mission, on the indispensable work each of you is doing every single day. And in my view, this is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important in how we do our work.
Well, good riddance. I'm glad that he did it because he saved a lot of people the drama in the media that would actually take place, because clearly if he stays on, he'll just be fired and the media will blow up all over it, right? But here's what President-elect Trump had to say about this. The resignation of Christopher Wray is a great day for America, as it will end the weaponization of what has become known as the United States Department of Injustice. I just don't know what happened to him. We will now restore the rule of law for all Americans. Let's go back. He said, I just don't know what happened to him. Because remember, Christopher Wray was appointed by Trump. You know, he really had high hopes for him. But I guess when you invade Mar-a-Lago, that all goes out the window, right? Under the leadership of Christopher Wray, the FBI illegally raided my home without cause, worked diligently on illegal impeachment and indicting me, and has done everything else to interfere with the success and future of America. They have used their vast powers to threaten and destroy many innocent Americans, some of which will never be able to recover from what has been done to them. Kash Patel is the most qualified nominee to lead the FBI in the agency's history and is committed to helping ensure the law and order and justice will be brought back to our country again and soon. As everyone knows, I have great respect for the rank and file of the FBI, and they have the great respect for me. They want to see these changes every bit as much as I do, but more importantly, the American people are demanding a strong but fair system of justice. We want our FBI back, and that will happen now. I look forward to Kash Patel's confirmation so that the process of making the FBI great again can begin. Thank you. I just want to say this really quick. There is a difference between the people that are not part of leadership in the FBI, and meaning these are just FBI agents that are all across the nation. They wake up in the morning, they do their job. They really don't get paid a lot of money, technically. That is a different category, right? Trump is not talking about those individuals. He's talking about the leadership, the people making the decisions, right? They need to go. Kash Patel needs to come in and clean house immediately, right? Now, speaking of Kash Patel, here's what he had to say.
Look forward to a very smooth transition, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Are you going to be seeking retribution against Donald Trump's political opponent, sir?
Sorry, what's your reaction to Wray's resignation? We look forward to a very smooth transition at the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Now, Julie Kelly, who was very instrumental in reporting the ins and outs of the January 6 individuals who were prosecuted, has been exposing a lot of the corruption in the DOJ, had this to say. Chris Wray's legacy will be turning the world's most powerful law enforcement agency into a domestic terror operation that includes raiding the home of the former president, entrapping individuals into politically oriented hoaxes like Whitmer Fednapping, colluding with big tech to protect the Biden crime family by censoring Americans, and using the FBI counterterrorism task force to investigate, raid, and arrest nearly 1,600 Americans who protested the 2020 election on January 6. His failures include record crime, a bleeding southern border, out-of-control fentanyl crisis, and historic low trust in the FBI. Seems impossible, but the worst FBI director in U.S. history. The damage he caused this country may never be fully repaired. And here's Senator Josh Hawley saying this: resignation of Christopher Wray is years overdue. Never forget, he allowed the FBI to recruit informants in Catholic parishes. He sent SWAT teams to terrorize pro-lifers. He worked hand in glove with the big tech corporations to censor speech of everyday Americans. Disgraceful. Now, I agree with the president-elect that this is a great day for America, because when you have the FBI raiding a former president's home over documents, Yeah, I think we got some issues there at the FBI, okay? Now, the timing of this announcement is very interesting because it was just this past weekend where President-elect Trump sat down and answered a question about whether or not he would fire Christopher Wray. Here's what he said.
Are you going to fire the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done. And crime is at an all-time high. Migrants are pouring into the country that are from prisons and from mental institutions, as we've discussed. I can't say I'm thrilled. I don't want to be Joe Biden and give you an answer and then do the exact opposite.
We're going to talk about
So
that,
I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, "Oh, maybe it was shrapnel." Where's the shrapnel coming from? Is it coming from heaven? I don't think so. So we need somebody to straighten. I have a lot of respect for the FBI, but the FBI's respect has gone way down over the last number of years.
Don't you have to fire him in order to make room for Kash Patel if he is, in fact, confirmed?
Well, I mean, it would sort of seem pretty obvious that if Kash gets in, he's going to be taking somebody's place, right? And somebody is the man that you're talking about.
Now, just put yourself in Trump's shoes. I mean, if the FBI raided your home and went through every inch of it, and it was publicized throughout the media and on the front page of the New York Times, yeah, I think you would probably have some level of resentment towards that individual, particularly, especially if you were the person who appointed him, right? So there's that. Now, we know that conservatives are celebrating this announcement, but not the liberals and not the media. Check this out.
I'm very disappointed that Director Wray decided to resign. I think Director Wray has carried out his responsibilities with integrity, professionalism during very difficult and challenging times over the last 7 years. And he was appointed to a 10-year term, and he accepted a 10-year term. And right now, his decision to leave tends to legitimize what Donald Trump is doing in terms of appointing someone else. I don't think it would be any problem if he stayed in place and had Donald Trump remove him. I mean, that certainly is a president's prerogative, even though there is a 10-year term on the FBI director role. But by doing this, I do think it's going to leave the men and women of the FBI sort of wondering what their future is going to look like, particularly if somebody like Kash Patel, a real sycophant of Donald Trump, is actually going to get through the confirmation process. So
my only reaction to the former CIA director is this. If you're calling him professional and he served with integrity and the FBI is such a successful organization, then why did they suppress the Hunter Biden laptop? Why did they collude with the big tech companies? And for the people in the back, let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Here is the FBI director denying that the FBI had anything to do with whether or not the Hunter Biden laptop was real or fake.
Let's talk about the FBI and what you told big tech, or some agents did, about the authenticity and provenance of Hunter Biden's laptop. What about that from an FBI perspective?
The FBI is not in the business of functioning as the truth police.
Understood.
So we don't tell social media companies to censor anything.
Well,
or remove
the Twitter
account
files
information.
suggest something different. I mean, there was an FBI request numerous times. Taibbi puts it out, FBI San Francisco request to ban certain accounts. Twitter personnel in this case went on to look for reasons to suspend all 4 accounts that the FBI wanted to ban or suspend.
So needless to say, Christopher Wray, he has zero credibility. That entire leadership crew has been liars from day one. They've sold out truth for their own political gain. They fell in line with what the establishment wanted them to do, which is to go after Trump and his family and business partners. So there's no question about that. All right. So if you guys are getting value so far from this video, please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, shop the merch store, or buy us a cup of coffee. Okay. So this leads us to the second story, where the FBI has no answers on the mysterious drones that have been flying in the skies of New Jersey. This has been happening since mid-November, and these drones have been spotted near critical infrastructure such as water reservoirs, rail stations, military installations, and even over President-elect Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster. Now, here is the FBI's response to that.
What is going on in New Jersey?
So, sir, the FBI and our Newark field office, along with the state and local partners there, the Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned, just the unexplained sighting of drone activity over that part of New Jersey, including proximity to sensitive sites and areas of concern. So we do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights. But we're actively investigating.
Okay, so actively investigating means they're probably not doing much at all. And by the way, you know why this story is getting so much attention? I'm not really too sure it's because of the drones. I just think it's the lack of answers, right? Now, I want to give you guys a little bit more context so you guys can see how big of a story this really is and some of the actual statistics around what's been going on here. Check out this explanation.
Car-sized drones operating for hours in restricted airspace and able to elude local law enforcement when they send their own drones up to give chase. In New Jersey, the Army reporting the Picatinny Arsenal has had 11 unauthorized drone incursions in the last month.
Look what's back again. Same spot as last night.
21 local mayors now demanding answers from the state.
The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark. This is something we're taking deadly seriously.
The entire month before that, it was nightly drone incursions over Langley Air Force Base.
Let's just start with current events.
Today, a congressional hearing on Capitol Hill on the national security threat drones pose.
What is going on in New Jersey?
We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights.
But for those who see them on a nightly basis,
not a plane, that is a drone in the airspace.
The drones are a very real reminder.
Almost hear a little bit of a hum.
That our airspace,
it's a very little thermal signature,
is not as secure as we might hope.
Despite the FBI's engagement, there's been a notable lack of clarity or definite information about who is flying these drones, why they are being flown, and what the purpose might be. Now, here is a congressman going on Fox News claiming he knows where they're coming from. Watch.
In focus now, Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyist or hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. The sources I have are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down.
Now, one or two things are true. Number one, he is probably a great actor and really good at sparking up conspiracy theories. Or two, he's flat out telling the truth. And either way, we still don't have the answers that we're looking for. But we did get an answer from the Pentagon, and it's the one that you would probably expect. Watch.
Sabrina, can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones? Or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
So they don't have any answers either. Again, it goes back to they know the what, but they don't know why, how, where, who in particular. And this is why conspiracy theories have a purpose in this world, because when they refuse to be transparent, we have no choice but to take matters into our own hands and collect the facts ourselves and make up our own conclusions. Now, here is a person who lives locally in New Jersey where he launched his own drone, and hear what he had to say about that experience.
Right here over at Picatinny, there was a drone just hanging out. I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone. Warning on my screen, lost control, and my drone started going down, dead battery.
So I guess the only question that really matters at this point is how much longer until they finally tell us the truth, or will someone have to expose the secrets that they're hiding from us once again with a leak? I mean, this is getting out of hand at this point. I mean, it's been almost a month, right? Here is Senator Josh Hawley saying exactly the way that I think, and I'm sure you do too.
What do you make of drones the size of dining room tables and nobody has a clue what they are?
Yeah, you can't tell me that we don't know what that is. I just think they're not being honest with us. I think that if we don't know, if our government really has no idea, then they're even more incompetent than I thought. We've got to get to the bottom of this, and they need to level with the American people about what's going on. It's crazy.
So I'm with the senator on this. I know the government already knows. They just refuse to tell the public. They probably think the public will become scared and then start to panic. Who really knows in the end, right? However, we can do a little speculation that I think is highly intelligent here using the AI system from the X platform. I did a search and I asked it, hey, why don't you speculate on what this is and who could be behind it? Here's what it came up with. One of three reasons. One, advanced drone swarms. The drones could be part of a large-scale test or demonstration of swarm technology. This technology allows multiple drones to operate in coordinated formations, potentially for military, surveillance, or even commercial research purposes. A second reason, it was just saying it, surveillance drones. Given their proximity to sensitive locations, these might be high-tech surveillance drones. They could be equipped with advanced sensors for collecting data on infrastructure, traffic, or even electromagnetic signals. And third, testing ground for new tech. New Jersey's density and diversity in terms of terrain, population, and infrastructure could make it an ideal testing ground for new drone technologies. Now, who could be behind it? Well, the U.S. government or military. Now, you heard the Pentagon obviously reject that idea. Defense contractors, private, right? Large, dense firms in the U.S. or even abroad might be conducting field tests. Three, foreign entities, though less likely due to the security implications. There's always the possibility of a foreign state actor testing surveillance capabilities within U.S. borders. Remember that whole air balloon thing that came from China. And then lastly, commercial research. A tech company might be testing new drone technology for civilian applications like delivery systems mapping or atmospheric studies. Through the scale and persistence of these sightings suggest something more complex or secretive. So here's my question for you that I'd like you to answer in the comment section below. Who do you think is behind this if you had to speculate at this point? Our government, which would include our military, of course, the Pentagon, or a foreign entity in their government, which also includes their military? Or do you believe it might have something to do with actual aliens? I mean, you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, what does the White House think about this, right? Let's make some room for them too, because I know all they do is lie all day. Here's KJP refusing to answer the question as always.
There have been repeated drone sightings in the Northeast, especially in New Jersey. These are not small drones, some of them pretty large. They're flying at low altitudes, they're flying in flocks. Has the president been briefed on this situation?
So we are certainly aware, the president is aware. So we are
closely tracking the activity and coordinating closely with relevant agency, including DHS and FBI, to continue to investigate these incidents. Don't have anything beyond that to share. Obviously, this is something that DHS and FBI are tracking very, very closely, and so I would have to refer you to them directly, but aware, keeping an eye out and looking into the incidents that you just mentioned.
Still though, but has the federal government ruled out that these are controlled by foreign entities?
Yeah.
And do you know if they're conducting surveillance over these areas?
I cannot make any kind of predictions or comments about that specifically from here. This is something that DHS is looking at and FBI, so I would have to refer you to them. I don't have anything beyond that. We're tracking this very closely. Obviously, we're all aware of the incidents that have been reported. I'm not going to go into what they could be or could not be from here. That is something that obviously is being looked at as those respective agencies that I mentioned.
When was the president briefed on this?
I don't have a timeline, but he certainly has been made aware of this.
All right, so very typical of the White House. We know they're not going to provide any answers. They'll probably be the last people to actually provide answers, technically. Now, I did a video earlier today with Bill Clinton, who was on The View this morning, claiming that the 2016 election was stolen away from Hillary Clinton. Yes, he is still bitter. Yes, he is still living in the past. And yes, he even thought that Trump won fair and square, he thinks. If you guys want to check out that video, all you have to do is click on it because it's coming up right now.